Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit True of My Chest and it's by user Master Tangerine 670. My mother's boyfriend made me realize how insecure my stepmother is. I feel like I've just gotten to know a new world here. I'm basically treated like a person and not a nasty fly. I speak Spanish, so if you want to leave me a comment in Spanish, feel free. My father has been married to my stepmother for 6 years. They have 2 kids together. I'm 17 years old. I'm quiet, I clean my things, I work part-time, so I even pay for a lot of my things. I'm not perfect, but I've never been a problem, but she always made me feel like one. She started with showing annoyance when I went to my father's house. My mother taught me to always wash my own dishes, but I have the clear memory of hearing my stepmother tell my father that she will not clean other people's dishes or cook food for me. I think that was the first time I felt like a nuisance in a place where I used to feel comfortable. My father and I always used to take trips together and I honestly felt a little excited to go on vacation with my little brothers. But they started going on vacation together as a family. I was no longer part of that family. She didn't like me going with them. Then the Christmas photos started. It felt strange when they took a picture with me and then she would say, "Okay, now one with my family," and I had to step aside. Also with the photos they have hanging, baptisms? I'm not in them, although I was present at the place. When my siblings were born, she really hated when I was present around them. She resented my presence. I remember once asking about this in a Facebook group about stepmoms and getting responses from women saying that my stepmother's behavior was normal, so I just decided to try not to feel bad about it. I think as the years went by, it stopped hurting, or so I thought, until I met my mother's boyfriend, who I will call Luigi because he looks like him. He's been dating my mom for 2 years, but he's been a friend of my mom's for years. He has a son from a previous girlfriend. Luigi is really kind and funny, so it felt strange to feel comfortable around him. One day, he was organizing a vacation, and I was happy to hear him include me in his plans. His son and I get along well, so he even invites me on outings together. My mother is pregnant, and I think that relived a trauma with my stepmother, so I automatically expected to be left aside by Luigi, but it didn't happen that way. My mother and he always includes his son and me in all the plans. Thanks to this, I began to realize little by little that my stepmother is not normal, but it still hurts. Everything exploded yesterday when my father and his family were going to take the typical Christmas photo. My father told me that he would take one with me later, like every year. He keeps them in his office, so I stayed at home. I felt silly for feeling sad again. My mother hugged me, but I just got tired and finally told my mother about the real treatment I've been getting, and for the first time, I saw Luigi angry. He called my father and I heard him tell him everything. I even laughed a little when he said that my stepmother is an insecure psychopath. Although Luigi apologized to my mother for it, he told her that what I've been experiencing is a type of psychological child abuse that he will not be involved in anymore. Those words made me realize that it's true. I've been bullied by a grown woman just for existing. She's insecure about a kid. I was a kid when I met her. I was a kid when she made me feel insecure in my own house. I was a kid when she started to call me a weekend daughter. I don't want to see my father again. I don't want to live my adulthood around a person who hates me, but I also don't want her to win by giving her what she wants, to make me disappear. OP, I'm so sorry that you've had to live through this, but it's a good thing that now you can actually have the perspective to understand that she absolutely sucks and she did emotionally abuse you. And your father, all he did was put the picture he took with you in his office. That was it. That's how much he stood up for you. So yeah, the sad fact, OP, is that your dad did fail you. But it is clear that both your mom and Luigi love you to bits, to the point that Luigi just called up your dad and told him that he sucked. So if you decide not to go to your father's house anymore, don't look at it as her winning. You're letting her think she won. Because let's be honest, they're both losers. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. And now let's check out the community comments. Yeah, so that happened says, don't think about cutting contact with your father as her winning. Your father has not stepped up to be a good father or even a protector. At the end of the day, many faults fall upon him. You are prioritizing your true family, the people who cared about you. Bitter Animator 2514 says, Luigi for the win. He sounds amazing and has your back. Your dad has enabled your stepmother's behavior and he hasn't made a mistake. He made choices of putting her and his new family before you. Why would you keep toxic people in your life? What does he or her actually bring to your life? Bella Principessa says, sorry you have to deal with that abuse and that you have a pathetic father that allows his child to be treated that way. It's as much his fault for allowing it as it is stepmom's fault for acting that way. No need for Luigi to apologize. Someone had to do it, and I think coming from an outsider of sorts may be the best possible person. By the way, what your stepmom did is not normal, and those that tell you it is are just as screwed up and insecure as her. People, if you cannot handle dealing with children from a previous relationship, then do not get married to someone with kids, for F's sake. Enough already. The evil step-parent trope is getting a bit played out. And White Roses 7252012 says, I'm the mom in a blended family. And from the beginning, I said outright that if my oldest wasn't included in family photos or everything else we did, I would not be attending, nor would any children I had with my husband. Later, my husband and I adopted a all of us or none of us philosophy. If we have family vacations, all our children go, or it's just my husband and I. Family outings, same thing. Fortunately, my in-laws are amazing humans who wouldn't dream of excluding my oldest, but I've heard plenty of horror stories and I wanted to make my boundaries clear. My husband wouldn't have respected me if I allowed anything else. Your stepmother failed you in obvious ways. Your father failed you by allowing it. The first time my husband treated my oldest like garbage would have been the last and only time. Let your stepmother win, because what she really got was a weak man who let her erase his daughter from his life. That's not a prize by any measurement. Opie's edit. Apparently, this post has been posted in a sub about stepmoms, since I have been receiving private messages from people who want to justify my stepmother's behavior. I'm sorry, but I won't answer any messages and I will only block those accounts. I don't need someone to turn the victimizer in my life into a victim. I don't need a group of cruel adults to want to make me feel guilty when I was a child. Absolutely nothing in this world justifies mistreating a child. Being a stepmother is difficult? Then try to be a little girl who doesn't understand why an adult who lives in the same house hates her. Blame the husband, blame the ex-wife, blame the child, blame everyone but yourself. It is really uncomfortable to know that grown women not only have a sub dedicated to hating their husband's children, but now they decided to fill the inbox of an underage girl with this kind of things. I went into that sub and only found women hating children as young as 3 years old for wanting to spend time with their fathers. My father treats my stepmother like a queen. Doesn't the fact that he pushed me aside for her tell you something? Why do they want to invent a strange narrative to make her the victim? Thanks for inviting me to that sub. I've discovered that the world is full of narcissists who love to feel like a victim while other narcissists pat them on the back. It broke my heart to read the post of a woman who hated that her stepdaughter speaks Spanish to her baby brother. I've even been told that I did something wrong. It's the same situation as the time I asked in that Facebook group, many grown women telling me that it is justified for other women to hate a child. All your partners have a past. We are human with a life and experiences of our own, and if the fact that your partner has had a first experience with another person makes you feel insecure, then you should go to therapy because you're not normal. It must be sad that a 17-year-old girl understands it and 10, 30-plus stepmoms don't. Well, the community agrees that the dad is no prize, just like the stepmom, and that OP should try to let them both go. And apparently OP is now also being bullied by a lot of people who took the stepmom side. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hi, I made this account just to vent, but got so many sweet comments, except for the harassment by the women in that stepmom subreddit, that I wanted to leave one last update for the people worried about me. After the day Luigi put boundaries on my father and stepmother, my father didn't call me or say anything until several hours later when he sent me a message saying, "I'm so sorry, hija, I love you." I felt strange because that message didn't make me cry or feel loved. I always wanted to be a daddy's girl, you know? I always loved my father and really appreciated all those few moments we could have together without my stepmom being there making bitter comments. But when I read that message, I had no feeling other than to think, same old thing, and I didn't answer. My father had his pictures with me in his office at home, but why do I have to be a secret? I'm not the daughter of a lover he wants to hide. Why does my existence have to be hidden there? My face can't be in the house where I lived? It's silly to say this now when I used to feel happy to see my photo there. I felt special, thinking, Dad has me in his office every time he works. Smiley face. But as I started to grow up, these things took on a dark and realistic meaning. That feeling of feeling special disappeared. A day after that message, I decided to talk to my father and stepmother. My mother and Luigi said they would go with me, but I told them I preferred to go alone. I told my father that I will not return to the house as long as he is still married to her. I think my words may have affected him because he apologized to me again, told me that he loves me and that now we can all go on vacation together. I would have liked to be the biggest person, but they are the adults. I was the biggest person since she arrived and I'm tired. I just told my father that I don't want to go anywhere where she is. I told him that even if he changes and sets limits on her anyway, I don't want to surround myself with that kind of energy anymore. I think it's healthy for me to start setting limits. I've read people in the comments who talked about being plus 35 years old and continuing to put up with their cruel stepmothers in order to see their fathers or siblings. I don't want that future. I don't want to live my adulthood sharing dinners with a woman who hates me. I'm terrified to think about having children and that they will have to call her grandma. I don't want to have to pretend that everything is fine. My father told me that he can't leave her because she is his wife and the other mother of his children. I told him that I know and that's why I won't come back. He saw something in her if they have been together for years. Both deserve each other, a cruel person and another who failed to protect me. I'm not going to lie, we argued raising our voices, especially with her who said that I was always problematic and in need of my father's attention. Their true personalities became clear to me when she said that I should understand that the wife or husband comes before the children, and my father agreed. I couldn't help but compare it to my mother and Luigi, who always put me and his son first. My mother always asked me if Luigi treated me well when they first got to know each other. In the end, I made it clear to my father and her that as long as they are married, I will never set foot in that house again, and that I will not be in the same place as her ever again because I think she's really insecure and that's really sad. I told my father that I also need space away from him. He told me that he loves me, but I'm tired of that way of loving. I felt depressed for a few days, but today we have finished decorating the house for Christmas, so my mother infected me with her Christmas excitement. Luigi has gone to pick up his son, so tomorrow we will all be together. Maybe I let my stepmother win, but I think I'm going to win too by not having her in my life. Well, it'll be good for you. You put it all on the table and that's it. Now you're moving forward. And your dad, well, he made his choice. It is sad, but as you said, you don't need that kind of love. So here's wishing you the best, OP. Thanks so much for sharing and take care. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user StrangeCut7290. Am I the a-hole for wanting to charge an 11-year-old for theft and destruction of property? So, about a week and a half ago, my son's phone was taken from his bag at primary school. I managed to track it using Find My iPhone and it led me to a house. From that house, I banged on the front door and was answered by a mom. I explained that I tracked my son's phone to this house and from there discovered her son and two of his friends had just been there. She calls him and then I follow her in my car to a second kid's house. At this house, all three kids are there and I tell him, I don't care who stole it, just hand it back and it's done. All three kids swear black and blue that they have never seen it and know nothing about it. I exchange numbers with the mom from the first house and the dad from the second house. Then I have to leave knowing full well one of them has it. I get home and receive a call from the mom from the first house. She has checked the security cameras from her house and discovered the kid from the second house, who swore that they have never had a phone, is miraculously holding a phone in the footage. This has already been sent to the dad, and next minute I get a message from the guilty kid's mom asking if she can come to my house. Her and her son arrive, teary-eyed and apologetic. I just ask for the phone back, and she shakes her head, saying that he has smashed and destroyed it. It was only an iPhone XE, so not expensive, but as a single mom working full-time was my means of communication with my son. She asks if she can go buy me a new phone now, but I ask if she contributes $100 and I'll find a similar phone off Marketplace, as I prefer an iPhone as I connect it to mine and can monitor parental controls and other things. She agrees and is happy to pay that. It has been over a week now, and she has now stopped replying to any messages and won't answer any calls. Last message I sent was me saying if I didn't receive payment, I would report and charge her 11-year-old son. So, am I the a-hole if I charge him for theft and destruction of property? Also, as a side note, I have camera footage, admission of guilt in her text messages and agreeing she would pay, as well as her son admitting to the school that he stole it as well. So I have enough evidence to go forward. Well, OP, I guess thieving runs in the family because the mom's also trying to not pay for what her kid stole. It's simple, OP. People with no honor deserve no respect. You've done your best you can to try to make this thing easy. Just hand me the phone and it's over. But they destroyed the evidence. So you said, well, fine, just pay me for a cheap iPhone and that's it. And they agreed to it. Now she's trying to skip on it. No, OP, I wouldn't send any more messages. I would just go to the police with all the evidence and charge the kid. Of course, they're going to try to victimize themselves. Oh, you're so mean, charging a child. I told you I was going to do it and you try to skip on it. F you. So no, OP, you wouldn't be the a-hole. Actions have consequences, and this kid needs to learn that, considering his mom doesn't want to teach him. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Altruistic Spray 2251 says, not the a-hole. Actions have consequences. You have been more than reasonable. If money was tight or there was some issue with getting you cash, she would have spoken up about it. Your Alien BB says, I've been through this with my daughter. We sent the police. Never happened again, and the offender left all my daughters alone after that. Limp Paint 7244 says, I don't give an F if the mom did pay for it. This boy purposefully stole and destroyed the phone. He needs real-world consequences and possibly an investigation into his home life. Absolutely press charges. And 4Y4Chi says, not the a-hole. It's so annoying these days that some people forgot there's a thing called consequences to their actions. Besides, if this child did this and nothing else before, he would be let go real easy. You can also sue the parents for the damage and distress caused to you and your child. That, however, might be a bit extra. Generally, I think you were very reasonable by simply asking for the phone back. You didn't go to the school's principal or their teacher to make a big issue or anything, although I would have, since at least someone in that kid's life might teach him about consequences. Shrug. I think you are right to do just that, especially after what you did so far. The community agrees OP would not be the a-hole, so now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. So, after not responding to my messages for over a week, I messaged last night saying I was going to the police in the morning to make a report, and the money was transferred this morning. I read all the comments why I didn't report first, and it's because I guess I waited so long as I still want to think people will do the decent thing and didn't want to have to go down the police road for a minor amount, as they have more important things to do. At the end of the day, though, I'm not going to raise my son to be walked all over and to stick to your word. But all sorted now. Nicely done, OP. You were absolutely prepared to follow through and the money just appeared in your bank account. I do hope that kid eventually does learn the lesson, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. Any case, OP, thanks so much for sharing. Take care. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user Leslie Smith09. Loud music at 2 a.m. I found the perfect way to shut her up. When I was in college, I had this neighbor in the dorms named Sarah. Sarah wasn't evil, just loud. Every night, she'd blast music at 1 or 2 a.m., usually when I had an early class. No matter how many times people asked her to turn it down, she'd laugh it off and say, "Relax, it's college." One night before a big exam, I was desperate for sleep. I knocked on her door around midnight and asked politely if she could lower the volume just a little. She smirked, said, "Sure," and then cracked it even louder. I laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, absolutely fuming. The next morning after my exam, I decided I wasn't going to let it slide. Sarah was notorious for sleeping in late, usually till noon, and she hated mornings more than anything. So for the next week, I set my alarm for 6:30 a.m. sharp, right when the hall was dead quiet, and placed my Bluetooth speaker against the thin wall we shared. I blasted the cheesiest pop songs I could find. Think bubblegum boy bands from the early 2000s. The first day, she stumbled out of her room, groggy and furious. By day 3, she started begging me to stop. I just smiled and said, "Relax, it's college." Funny enough, after that week, her late-night concerts mysteriously stopped. She never admitted defeat, but the silence was golden. That was beautiful, OP. It was like, here, have a little taste of your own medicine.